Hello, and welcome to Scott's Odyssey. In keeping with the October theme of color changes and things that go bump in the night, I'm at a location known for dancing fairies, mausoleums with voices, and a banshee who sings a song of the long departed from the top of the hill. But my videos aren't about the living ghosts. They're about the people who we once were, and the ghostly things some of them did. Welcome to the site of Wildwood Cemetery, where a man's fear of being buried alive turned into an obsession beyond his death. See you in a minute. Welcome back. If you've watched my videos before, thank you for your patronage, and if you're new to Scott's Odyssey, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy this story of Thomas Pursell's death burial hatches. I'd like to politely request that you stop finding my channel by accident. By clicking like and subscribe, you will see these videos when they are released, and it will release you from the remorse of not helping me take you on these ODDYSEEy adventures. Throughout the late 18th century and into the early part of the 19th century, death, and more so the afterlife, was an absolute obsession in both Europe and America. From the creation of art using human hair and the mummification of your favorite pets to the infamous family photo op with your dead child or other family members, it's easy to see that the Victorian Romanticism had an equal and opposite group of devotees to the dark Romanticism and the fascination with insanity, melancholia, crime, and morbidity. I distinctly remember this fascination rotating back around in our culture through the late 80s and into the early 90s. Writers like Edgar Allan Poe, Lord Byron, Mary Shelley, and Bram Stoker often wrote stories that would modernly be referred to as Gothic fiction. On other fronts, the popularity of artists such as Mauritius Cornelis Escher and Vincent van Gogh also delved into the romantic side of darkness. Regardless of the official genre, it's safe to say that nobody was safe from the dark side of Romanticism, and that the people of that time who sought the light and beauty of religion and purity were equally plagued by anthropomorphized evil presented through ghosts, vampires, werewolves, devils, and the Prince of Darkness himself, Satan. During a time of enlightenment and industrial revolution, many new inventions and devices that prolong the welfare of all humanity were invented. Along with this revolution came the inevitability that mankind would also devise a better way to both intentionally and unintentionally kill people. With the expansion of furnaces for smelting iron and gas to light the home came the unstoppable force of Earth's elemental fire, which often raged through forests, factories, homes, and at this time period, even entire cities. This brought about the birth of a full-time professional fire department with trained firefighters in the early 1850s. For Williamsport resident Thomas T. Pursell, becoming a firefighter seemed like one of the most venerable titles a man could have, and that maybe it would quell that other fear instilled by the proliferation of dark Romanticism. You see, Thomas Pursell had a fear of being buried before he was fully dead. And I say fear, but you need to realize that this man was absolutely consumed by the thought that no matter what happened to him, when it was his time, he would be buried alive. Let me know in the comments below if you know of stories and locations such as the Pursell burial hatches. My research is limited only by the information that people don't share openly. Help me break that barrier and let's share the history and culture of who we once were. Now, during this exact period of time, there were a lot of new scientific and medical discoveries, and well, unfortunately, one of the most prevalently talked about in Europe was that people were being pronounced dead and then buried when in reality they were in a coma or suffering certain types of opiate drug overdoses, type 1 diabetes, petit mal epilepsy, and other forms of catalepsy conditions. Catalepsy is a medical condition characterized by a trance or a seizure with a loss of sensation and consciousness accompanied by rigidity of the body. So Pursell's fear was viable, but not to the extreme of something that needed to be obsessed over. Regardless, Pursell was consumed by it. Now, because there was already romanticism about this dark and macabre subject, people were seeking to cash in on those who fantasized about death, and even those who suffered Cotard's delusion, as well as people who generally just loved the beauty of Gothic darkness and an eternal life as a walking corpse of some sort. Cotard's delusion is a mental condition, commonly known as walking corpse syndrome, and is a rare mental disorder in which someone believes they are dead, putrefying, or lost their blood. Insert the pinnacle of Industrial Revolution's inventions, the safety coffins and tombs. That's right, everything from a coffin with a bell above the ground attached to a string inside the coffin to feeding tubes and air tubes. Unfortunately for Pursell's compulsion, these bells in an empty cemetery and tubes when nobody knows you're still alive wouldn't cut it. He needed some manner in which to ensure that if he was buried alive and needed to get out, he could, well, get out. Pursell designed a vaulted apparatus that would permit the interned, when revived, to ventilate their coffin from the inside and escape through a patented wheel lock. Each vault would be lined with felt for the purpose of comfort, safety, and warmth in case the recently undead found themselves in a panicked state. He also ensured that those who used these tombs would have food and basic tools to help keep them alive and allow them to escape the clutches of the false burial. The first of these tombs was created for Pursell and his family. It consisted of a stone burial mound with 5 metal wheels behind each grave marker. In 1939, at the age of 84, Pursell himself was entombed in his own creation. As time passed, the rest of Pursell's family were also laid to rest in each of the subsequent escape burial hatches. And it is important to note that none of the hatches have ever been opened from the other side. So we don't know if they didn't work or if the Pursells were really dead when they were buried. But regardless of if they were not dead when they were buried, it's pretty safe to assume that they are now very much not alive. I hope you enjoyed this visit to the Thomas T. Pursell Escape Burial Hatches. If you haven't already, remember to click like on this video and to subscribe for more ODDySEEy stories of who we once were. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.